Hey everyone, it's Nate here with Element Van Life. I just wanted to do my Tuesday Q&A video. I do these every other Tuesday for now, guys. The way it works, if you have questions, just post them below in the comment section, and I will answer them in my next Tuesday Q&A video. The next one will be on November 1st, guys. So let's get started. We got a lot of great questions to go over this week. First one comes from Tasha F. She says, "Hi Nate, do you think you'll ever upgrade to something bigger than the Element? If so, what will you get?" I've definitely thought about upgrading. I mean, as of right now, I don't really see any reason to necessarily upgrade, but because I really am happy with the Element and the fact that it's really compact and small and that I can kind of fit it in anywhere, and that it's very stealthy and all that. I mean, all the reasons that I've talked about before. But you know, if I ever had to upgrade for some reason, say if there was an issue to the Element or anything else, who knows? But I've thought about maybe the Nissan NV200, which is a smaller cargo van. I've also looked at the Ford Transit Connect, the smaller Ford Transit vans, and even like maybe a Chevy Astro if I could find a decent one, you know, for with lower miles that wasn't in terrible shape and all rusted out. But that sounds pretty difficult to do. But you know, maybe a Chevy Astro, and then I've even looked into some of the full-size cargo vans as well. So maybe the like a Ford E350 or Chevy Express van, or even like a Class B. I've seen some of the road treks and stuff around here at the campground at the Sugar Beet Harvest. I'm parked at the campground now, but I've even seen a couple of those around here, and those look really cool as well. So I wouldn't be completely opposed to getting something like that if I could find one for a decent price. But as of right now, I don't really plan to make any changes. I'm really happy with the Element, and we'll be in it at least for the foreseeable future. Next question comes from Van Life, My Life on Wheels. He says, "Hey Nate, do you just walk into Planet Fitness and shower most times? Or do you work out and then shower? I feel weird just walking in and just taking a shower, so I usually work out for at least 20 minutes. Yeah, I definitely understand that feeling, definitely. When I first started with the gym membership, even before my Planet Fitness, I had another one when I was in New Orleans, and I was always kind of weirded out, like at first, by just walking in and showering and like not, at least like going, there was a pool there, so like going for a swim or like, you know, working out or something like that, just like going in and coming out. But I don't know, eventually I pretty quickly got over it, and especially with Planet Fitness as well. I mean, I was in San Diego and I saw somebody do exactly that. I think they were living, you know, van life or something like that, and I saw them walk in and walk out while I was working out, and I was like, all right, well, like other people do this, you know, van dwelling is very common around here. It's not something to like be weirded out by. I'm pretty sure that those people see that, the people working the front desk and stuff see that every day. So I kind of just don't care anymore. I've showered at Planet Fitnesses everywhere on this trip, from North Dakota all the way to, you know, Seattle to San Francisco, all the way down the coast of California, and I haven't had any issues with it, and it doesn't really bother me anymore at all. I probably should work out more. I definitely need to get into the habit of doing that just for health reasons, but especially without being able to surf like I haven't been able to in North Dakota here. But doesn't really bother me. Next question comes from Skylar Ruloff. He says, "Hey Nate, how did you go about selling your stuff? Craigslist, eBay, or yard sale?" That's a good question. When I was selling most of my stuff before making the full-time van life commitment, I used eBay a lot. I had like an inflatable stand-up paddleboard that I sold on eBay. I think I sold a guitar or maybe 2 guitars on eBay. And a few other things. Some of those posters that I mentioned before that I sold on eBay. And then I used Craigslist as well. I sold like an amp on Craigslist. I mean, all kind of stuff that I had, you know, music stuff. And I think I had a TV that I sold on Craigslist, a PlayStation maybe that I sold on Craigslist as well. A bunch of stuff like that. But yeah, both Craigslist and eBay I used to sell. I never had a yard sale. I guess that could also work as well if you did it the right way, but I don't know. I'm not too comfortable with the whole yard sale concept. I don't know too much about it. But Jono Muzz says, "Hi, where do you see yourself 2 years from now?" Excellent videos, by the way. Regards, Jono. Thank you. 2 years from now. Ooh, that's a good question. I would say I would like to be in a position where I can work remotely full-time and be able to travel full-time while still having an income, or even maybe part-time or whatever, but still being able to support myself while traveling full-time, both here in the United States, but also internationally as well. So that's kind of where I would like to be 2 years from now, is to have a steady income, be it from YouTube or from other side projects that I'm working on, but then also, you know, web development or IT or whatever sort of thing I'm trying to get into, and being able to work remotely and being able to travel full-time while working. That's the ultimate goal, at least for the next few years. So that's what I'm focusing on. Next question comes from John Schechtel. He says, "Hey Nate, JP here. Quick question. How do you plan to winterize the Element? Do you even need to?" That's good. That's a good question. I don't really plan on winterizing it at all. I mean, what I have with the little Reflectix on the windows, that doesn't really do a whole lot, and then the one that I put on the sunroof here, that's pretty much all that I do. I might consider getting like a little Mr. Buddy heater for the coldest nights, so I can run that a little bit, like in the mornings when I wake up, so it's not freezing cold in here when I'm trying to like eat breakfast and stuff. I've noticed that here in the campground, having this little space heater here that I bought, you know, for the sugar beet harvest has been amazing. It was the best investment of $10 that I could ever spend, because with the hookups I can run that all night, or not even all night, but I can run it, you know, before I go to bed, and then when I wake up in the middle of the night to go into my shift, and it's been amazing to be able to take it from 40 degrees in here up to 70 degrees, so it's comfortable, and I can be in my t-shirt and just, you know, be doing my thing even though it's 30 degrees outside. But yeah, so maybe I'll consider getting like a little Mr. Buddy heater or something like that, but otherwise I'm not really planning to do much. I'm going to be in the south all winter. I don't really plan to experience a night like below 20 degrees at any point, so I should be okay, hopefully. Unless there's like weirdly cold weather in New Orleans this winter, which could always happen, I guess. So the next one comes from Cranky Babushka. They say, how do you earn money on the road? Just wondering if it's possible for me to do. How do you get work without a permanent address? So in terms of earning money on the road, I did just put out a video. I think it was probably after you asked the question there, but about how I make money on the road and that sort of thing. But I'll go into a little bit of detail about it. I mean, what I've been doing is just sort of taking up seasonal employment where I'm at. So I was in San Diego all summer. I drove to the West Coast from New Orleans and went to San Diego for the summer. I worked there as a surf instructor. I also have a little bit of income coming in from web development that I do. I do a little bit of freelance web design and development online, and then I also get a small amount from YouTube as well. But for the most part, the majority of my income is coming from the temporary jobs that I take. So I made some money there, I saved a bunch of money, and then was able to travel for a month without having a job, up the coast and then over to here in North Dakota, where I started my next seasonal job at the sugar beet harvest. I just finished up with that yesterday, which has been amazing. I'm getting ready to hit the road again, but I did that, and was able to save up some money, and have some money from that, and I'll be able to use that to travel down to the south, and then I'm going to get a job there for the winter. So pretty much just going from place to place, taking up seasonal employment for now. In terms of getting work without a permanent address, if I'm going somewhere for an extended period of time, I'm going to get an address there. So when I was in San Diego, I had an address that I used, and then in New Orleans, that's actually where my permanent address is anyways. So if I do end up there for the winter, which I'm thinking that I will, then I'm going to use that address as my address. That's my residential address anyways, so residential address as it is. But yeah, and if I go to a different place, I'll just get an address there and have something there so that I can have things shipped to me anyways, and then also use for my place of work when they ask where I live. Willie Carmichael says, "Hey Nate, what was your favorite beach to surf at in San Diego? Also, how long were you in San Diego as a surf instructor?" So to answer the second part, I was there for 5, I guess it was 5 months or so that I was there, working from April until August. And then my favorite beach to surf at in San Diego it's probably Black's. I really enjoy Black's Beach. It's absolutely beautiful. It's always like an adventure getting down there, and the surf is usually very good. So I really enjoyed surfing Black's. I liked going up to Trestles a lot. I know that's not technically San Diego, it's technically Orange County, but I liked going up there a lot. And then there was another break up in Cardiff, by Cardiff Reef, that I really liked as well in North County. Those 3 were my favorites. Dave Avery says, Q&A, "Hey Nate, the holiday season is fast approaching. Are they already playing Christmas music? What are your plans? If your family is still down on your lifestyle choices, I'm sure there's a few thousand who'd love to have you over. Stay awesome. P.S. What are you going to be for Halloween? The Businessman Classic. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to do for Halloween yet, but I should really get that figured out, because in New Orleans, Halloween's like a big deal. It's like a huge holiday, so I definitely need to figure that out. But I don't know. I have time when I'm driving down there. It's like a 24-hour drive, so I'll have plenty of time to be thinking about that. And then in terms of the holiday season, I'm going to go home for the holidays for sure. I mean, my parents are not super happy with it, and I'm definitely going to have some explaining to do, and I'll have to justify it to like my whole family, but not going to be a problem, I don't think. I think that they're going to be happy to see me, and I'm looking forward to seeing them. I do miss them, and I'm looking forward to going up there for a week or so around Christmas and spending some time with them. But yeah, I don't think it'll be so bad. I still talk to them all the time. They're just not exactly happy with what I've been doing. So Alan Wasserman says, when are you coming home to San Diego? Unfortunately, not for a while. It probably won't be until, at the very earliest, next summer. Miss Sean 43 says, hey Nate, would you please break down your spending? How much do you budget for groceries and gasoline, etc.? Yeah, sure. So I have a spreadsheet. I think I mentioned this before. I have spreadsheets for everything, but I have a spreadsheet here with my monthly budget. So I know I've talked about this a little bit before, but I mean, overall, I budget about $1,200 a month for everything, $200 for gas when I'm moving around, but that obviously varies. Like if I'm in New Orleans or wherever, when I was in San Diego, I wasn't spending $200 a month on gas. But if I'm stationary, then obviously I'll have to be able to budget a little bit less for that. But as of right now, I anticipate in October that I'll have spent $200 on gas between moving around up here in North Dakota and then getting myself back down to the south. So that's where I am with that. In terms of groceries and eating out, total around like $300 or so, maybe a little bit more than that. I probably don't have this reflecting exactly what it is, but somewhere around that area, $300 for food. And then I always budget an additional $100 for miscellaneous expenses. There's always something random that comes up that I have to pay for, whatever it is. This month, Planet Fitness charges in October an annual $40 fee. So that's one of the things that came through, and that was on like the first of the month. So there's always something that I need to get or whatever. So I always budget a little bit for that. And then obviously the rest of it goes towards school. That's like $600 total there. And then the rest goes towards school loans, car insurance, my health and dental insurance that I have, and then the Planet Fitness membership. So that's about it though. Around $1,200 total a month is where I'm at right now. Mason Gregory says, how big is your van? Overall, I believe it's just about 35 square feet in here. From the back window here to the front, it's right around 8 feet or so. And then from this side to this side, it's a little over 4 feet at the widest point. So somewhere around, 34, 35 square feet total. Moonpie78 says, hey Nate, love watching your videos. Thanks. I'm thinking about getting an Element and adding a bed to the back. I'm curious what your thoughts would be on making a similar bed design to what you have, but using the front seats in a fully reclined position as the front supports for the bed instead of the wooden supports you're using. Okay, so I have, it's definitely something that could work. I did do that in a previous conversion that I had in here. It was a smaller bed, it was a little bit less wide, it was only like a 24-inch wide bed, but I had it set up so that the support for the back part folded down and went onto the passenger seat. I did notice that it was really hard to get it level. So when I was sleeping fully extended, my legs, especially because I'm a side sleeper, so especially like that, it was really uncomfortable because my legs would go like below my body like a lot, because I would sleep with my head this way and my legs would be like hanging like this, so you get like this kind of thing going on, and it was really, really uncomfortable to get it really level. I'm sure there's a way to do it where you could set up a nice support that you build and then mount it on top of the seat that sort of somehow compensates for like weight distribution, because the seat is obviously cushioned, so like it moves, it goes down when you put weight on it. So I did notice though that it was kind of it was a little bit uncomfortable to do that. But I'm sure there's a way to do it where you can make it level, and you could build a nice support for it that we would just put on the chair instead of on the ground like my wood support. But yeah, I mean, I've tried it and I didn't really like it too much personally. But also, do you have any problems with the sunroof leaking, the solar panel cords running through it? Keep living the dream. Yeah, so in terms of the solar panel cords, I've never had any issues leaking there. There is a string that hangs off one of my surfboard bags on the roof, and that sometimes gets in and sneaks in, and that will leak because I think the string absorbs water, and then it leaks in, obviously, because the string is absorbing all the water. But I have to make sure that that little string doesn't get in, and then otherwise the sunroof doesn't leak at all. It does a great job. Knock on wood. I'm very lucky with it. Bantam Keeper says, your comments on minimalism were great. Thank you. Do you have a roof rack? If so, what kind? How is it attached? And do you think it's worth the effort? Are your solar panels attached to it? Thank you. Yeah, so I do have a roof rack. It's not the OEM Element roof rack. It's like an aftermarket one, like made in China or something like that. But it's great. I mean, it's pretty much the same exact design as the OEM. I think it's even like labeled OEM style roof rack for Honda Element. I got it on eBay. I think it was like 150 bucks. It's definitely been worth it. I would definitely recommend it. I put my surfboards on it on the left side, and then on the right side I have my solar panel. It's not mounted to the roof rack. I actually have it mounted underneath the roof rack, and the reason that I did that is just because I think it's better for stealthiness. If I have a solar panel mounted on the roof rack, it's pretty obvious that there's something on there, but right now it's really hard to see it because I have it just mounted to the roof of the Element instead. So it does cause some partial shading, which definitely affects the efficiency of the panel a little bit, but overall I prefer it the way that I have it as it is. That sums it up for all the questions this week, guys. So as always, if you have the questions, post them below and I'll answer them in the next one. Like I said, the next video will be on November 1st. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, guys, and I'll talk to y'all in the next video.